about all of this heavy stuff. We call it the debrief. And so in basically it ends with me asking you a series of questions and you telling me the first answer that comes to your mind.
Okay.
You ready?
Ready to roll.
All right. So you grew up overseas. Is there an international film you've ever seen that Americans should watch?
Oh my goodness. I mean, there are a lot. I would say, and I don't know if this was an international film, but of course it was about the genocide in Rwanda. I think it was Hotel, trying to remember the exact name.
I think it was Hotel Rwanda.
Hotel Rwanda.
With Don Cheadle.
There you go.
That's such
Exactly.
a great film.
It really is an important and great film. So that's just the first thing that came to mind. There are others, but that was the first one that came.
That's a great one. Okay, so name a senator Americans should be paying more attention to.
Well, you're talking about a living senator?
Yes.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm saying it because, I worked for a great Maryland senator one time named Mac Mathias, who's passed away.
Yes.
He was a Lincoln Republican. Look, I mean, I do a lot of work with my friend Jeff Merkley. I think, he and I traveled to the Middle East together. We traveled to the West Bank. We went to the Egyptian-Gaza border. I do think, those issues regarding the Middle East are front and center, and especially right now, of course, we're in this, what I believe is a very stupid war with Iran. But anyway, I'll just mention.
Okay, so Merkley, I like that response. All right, this is a Maryland question. If you're going out, what's the best place to eat in Maryland?
Well, we have a lot of crab houses. I'm going to duck the question as to which of the crab houses is the best. I will confess
Okay.
that.
That's fair.
But it all depends on where you live. But in Wheaton, Maryland, there's a great sort of hole-in-the-wall Thai restaurant called Ruan Thai.
Oh.
I recommend it to anybody.
Oh, okay. I like that suggestion. Okay, so what one album you could listen to forever?
Oh, my goodness. What I'll tell you is one of my very first albums was the Woodstock album. I mean, of Woodstock. This dates me a little bit.
So of all the acts, you're saying like that?
Yeah, I mean, and that obviously had lots of different bands on it. But, and that's one of the reasons that, if I had one album, I'd probably get that because there were more than one band. I mean, you've got everything, there from
Jimi Hendrix,
Simon and Garfunkel to Sly and the Family Stone to all sorts of other bands. But I will say rock and roll is my go-to music.
That's your go-to? Okay, and last question. You lived around the world, worked in Congress, and represented Maryland for years. What's something you've learned about people that politics alone could never teach you?
Well, I think at the end of the day, and it's a lesson that, I learned from my parents too, which is that you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day. And, we want to go back to your point about what motivates people, what do voters want at any particular moment. And, my view is you should be true to yourself. And I think there are too many people who are sort of finger-in-the-wind politicians. They just kind of blow with public opinion. And, I think the American people really don't like that. They can accept, they can accept that you have very different opinions, as long as they understand that you're leveling with them.
Yeah, you are who you say you are. People are looking for authenticity.
Yeah,
They're looking.
I think that there are way too many folks who, as I say, are finger in the wind politicians. So, for example, when I went down to El Salvador to see Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was snatched off the streets of Maryland by the Trump administration.
Yeah.
I was just upset because he'd had his constitutional rights completely violated. And if they can do it to him, they can do it to anybody. But there are a lot of folks back then who said, they're not sure that politically that's the best thing. My view is just do what you think is right. Let the voters make their own decisions at election time.